Hey. If you're looking to level up in your business, it's critical that you know how to evaluate a sales team. When we're thinking about evaluating a sales team, here's one thing I can say. One of those components is training for success, but stay until the end of this video where I'm going to dive deeper into what that means. Since you're watching this video, I assume that you already have a sales team and you're trying to figure out how to evaluate them effectively to improve performance. Or maybe you're looking to build a sales team, but you're intimidated by the thought of, how would I even measure success? I'm accompanied here, Cheryl Parks, our elite coach and trainer from the Big Money Movement. I have the privilege of her joining me.
Thank you.
Cheryl, what are your thoughts when you think about evaluating a sales team?
So for me, the key to evaluating a sales team has to be that first and foremost, you can evaluate a sales team to go out and pick flowers. You can evaluate a sales team to sell what you want them to sell. So
Right.
you have to define it and inspect what you expect.
Yes.
Communicate it out to them, and then gain agreement. And that doesn't mean they all say, yes, I can do that. It means literally have them buy into it. Why are they interested in getting to the goal?
Yes.
I think if you're communicating out and getting feedback from them, that's the best way to actually coach them to success.
I love it. And I know that you have just a dynamic background and experience in sales. Have there ever been certain situations where you felt like how you were evaluated was fair, or maybe a situation where you felt like I'm being held to a standard that is completely, just not fair to me?
So I'm gonna just be very transparent. I was always the unicorn on the sales team. So I have strong,
level up,
yes.
level up.
I really created my own lane. So I have strong hunting skills in terms of outbound, right? And I like developing new business. But at the same time, I was working with some of the larger corporations based in mostly the California area. So I was able to go in and cross-sell. So I worked with companies like Wells Fargo, Discover Financial, which is in the Midwest, and Kaiser Permanente. So I would cross-sell within their departments, and I just found that I really enjoyed it. So to answer your question specifically, one of my favorite managers always said, anytime I look at your numbers, I have to turn my head a little bit. Because he's like, she's doing this and she's doing that, and I need to bring it together so that it makes sense, because I was the only person doing both.
Oh, okay. I love this. And I want to further explain this for those who aren't from the sales world, right?
Sure.
So what Cheryl is saying is that normally there are two distinct personalities.
Yes.
There's the person like me, because I'm not the unicorn. I'm like, look, I love dating. Look, I'm married, but in the sales world, I love dating. I love that new relationship, the new vibes, getting to know each other. But once I got you, I'm like, I'm not the best person at maintaining the relationship and all the check-ins. So all jokes aside, I'm what you consider the hunter. I'm great for prospecting, thinking about how to add value and build new relationships. Then there's what we used to call the farmer.
Yes.
And that's the person who's great with cultivating relationships, nurturing relationships, identifying growing needs, expanding the engagement, upselling, cross-selling, identifying new ways to expand an account. And those are normally two distinct personalities. Cheryl's like, I got both. And so because I have a distinct role, how do you evaluate my performance compared to others who don't have my role? Is that what it was?
Yes.
Okay.
So again, if you're identifying what it is the role, what the role is, right? So hunter or farmer in the example we just used, even if you have a hybrid/unicorn, you at least want to identify the difference between the two. So I, as a hybrid, right, as a hunter farmer, I could then have specific key performance indicators related to new business.
Right.
And I can also have key performance indicators related to cross-selling.
Yes.
Or current business, or maintaining an account past its expiration, right? So that was a big deal for us, was keeping accounts on board instead of letting them go to RFP.
Can you say why? Like,
Why?
Yeah, just like basic 101. Why is that
Money.
important? Right, right.
Revenue. It is 4 times easier to maintain an account than it is to go out and spend your time, effort, get your whole team involved to land a new client.
Right.
So you want to keep your current clients as long as you can, as long as you're providing, you're successful with them and you're growing with them. And that's a key, right? Is growing with them.
Right.
You don't want them to just be there and they're not getting any value from it.
Correct.
Right.
Which means you have to find ways to create new value.
Absolutely.
Okay. When they were looking to evaluate your unicorn role, did they put emphasis on one versus the other? Did they put the line down the middle and say split your efforts? I'm just curious of how they were able to evaluate that.
So candidly, that was done by account.
Oh,
Right?
okay,
So
love
then
it.
it began, what it looked like was a Wells Fargo bank at the time that I was selling it was significant to be able to cross sell within.
Okay.
Because they had, most of the VPs in that organization had signing authority.
Okay.
So they could buy, and they could buy from an individual representing a company.
Okay,
They
yeah.
didn't need to roll it up. So then on the other side of it, it became, so for me, I was always new business because that's how I came into the organization. So my lean was always new business, but you have to really evaluate, is this company really good for cross-selling? Or is this company, are you getting it as an enterprise, right? So you're getting the whole pie, which is what enterprise means. You're getting the whole pie, and there's not much else in there. So you want to put your effort into getting the whole pie, but you also have other opportunities to go in and just continue to create slices of the pie.
And if you recall, what type of value would you put on some of these opportunities?
In terms of revenue?
Yeah.
Oh, so Wells Fargo Bank at the height of their involvement with the company that I worked for did, in my division alone, $40 million.
Yeah.
And they were increasing at about 10 to 14% per year. Right.
Yeah.
So that is what you would call a gorilla client, right?
Yep.
Right. For an organization, even the size of the one I was working for.
Do you mind defining gorilla client for them?
Yeah, gorilla client is a client that actually holds 35% or more of your revenue. The bottom line is a gorilla client is, if they leave, it would significantly impact your business to the point of potentially going out of business. Right. And so gorilla clients sound great when you get them.
Yeah, you're like, yes, big deal, whale.
Right. But strategically, you have to make sure that it's not lopsided. Right. And I'm going to add this in too, because this was a big thing. And you can't take a gorilla client at 3% profit margin. You can't have a gorilla client on your books and your profit margin, you're underwater. Right. Because I know it looks like revenue, you're getting great revenue, but at the end of the day, if you're running grocery store margins, no shade to the grocery stores, if you're running grocery store margins, that is not going to grow your business.
I love this. And this it just correlates perfectly with evaluating a sales team, because this is something in my experience that created tension sometimes between sales, marketing, sales ops, sales and program delivery. Because sometimes if you only evaluate a sales team by how much revenue that's brought in the door, top line growth, it can be deceiving, because ops might look, or, depending on, for our organization, finance lives in the ops department, right? So that's where that lives. But, whoever's looking at your finances is like, we are not hitting our profit margins, our profitability isn't there. So yes, you closed the significant deal, but it's a loss for us. Right. Another example is why program delivery or service delivery would get frustrated is that sales might get excited about new revenue coming in the door. Right. And they're serving the client and they're saying, this is not the right fit. And we're churning clients because you're bringing in deals that in the sales world, we call them chargebacks. Yes. Where it's like you bring in new revenue, but that client lasts 60 days and now it's a loss. Right. So it's not just revenue and evaluation. It's, are they a good fit for the organization? What's the retention? Are we able to expand this? Yes. Do we love serving this client, and is there profitability there?
Absolutely. And a lot of times, to the point of what we're talking about, it's the evaluation of that, right? It's evaluating the types of clients you're bringing on board, who you have your salespeople hunting for or farming in, just to be sure the profitability is there. I came from came from the streets. I came from selling copying systems way back in the day when that was a thing. And we actually always had ranking by not only revenue, but also profit.
Yep, same.
And so you could see your name at the top of the revenue chart and at the bottom of the profit chart. And everyone knew, like, yeah, you think you're doing it, but you're really not.
Because we looked at it as you're giving away business.
Yes.
Yeah, you're just like, you're transactional, checking the boxes.
Right. So let's talk about that. How would you have low profit and high revenue? That means you're negotiating all of the profit out of your deal just to land the deal.
Yes.
And you are, in fact, in control of that.
Yep. I love this conversation because it was later in my career that I was in sales roles where revenue and profitability was brought up. I wasn't trained for that initially. So there were sales roles where it was just like dial for dollars, bring in clients. And it wasn't later until I had more senior sales roles that I understood the impact. And I wish I was taught that earlier.
Yes.
So that brings me to just the most important component from my mind is training for success. So in order to evaluate someone, what we're skipping over are expectations and training individuals for those expectations. And I think the best way that you train salespeople for success is to grow their business acumen. You don't want transactional, taking phone orders, doing whatever the client asks of them. You want savvy business acumen sales individuals who understand the needs of the business, the profit margins of the business, and thus can bring in the right accounts.
Yes. Sustainability is the word.
Yes,
The word of
sustainability, it really is. I love that you said it's 4 times
Yes.
easier to keep a client than to get a client. Right. Speaking of which, let's dive deeper into the most important part of the sales process.
Yes.
Yeah? We're not going to tell you what that is yet. Click the next video and you'll see it there. We'll dive deeper and let's make big money moves together. See you there.